I watched Stranger Things Season 5 trailer in 0.25 speed and uncovered new details that you probably missed. Let's start with number 1. The first scene opens with Joyce saying,
"I think about that night all the time."
The shot then transitions directly to the first episode of Season 1 and it becomes clear Joyce is talking about the night Will went missing.
The night it came for you. The night all of this started.
Now this line isn't just a callback, it could be teasing a major reveal in Season 5. Recently released set photos suggest we'll finally see what actually happened to Will that night, since one of those photos shows his older self sitting right next to his younger self. And if we revisit the iconic scene from Season 1, there's a detail most people missed. A large claw-like hand can be seen on the right side of the frame as Will is taken. But it doesn't match the Demogorgon, that hand looks a lot more like Vecna's. Number 2. When Will says,
"Everything changed. We failed, but we need to be ready."
At first glance, you might be thinking he's talking about the portals opening and the real world getting torn apart, but if you look deeper, this line isn't just about the surface level destruction. He's talking about the change in the Upside Down itself. The Upside Down has always been stuck in time, frozen on November 6th, the night Will Byers first went missing. The Duffer brothers confirmed this themselves, saying the dimension was locked in that exact moment because that was when Eleven made contact with the Demogorgon and accidentally opened the Mother Gate. But here's the thing, in this trailer, Will isn't just reflecting on that event. He's suggesting the Upside Down is no longer frozen, it's evolving. It's finally starting to move forward, and that change might be directly connected to him, and this fits with something the Duffers teased before. Season 5 is like if Season 1 and Season 4 had a baby, and then that baby was injected with steroids. And you can even see this visually in the trailer. The title card, The Vanishing Off, begins glitching, and the glitching might be symbolizing that time itself is starting to fall apart. The recently released set photos further prove this by showing an older Will sitting right next to his younger self, suggesting that Will is somehow reliving the moment he disappeared again. He's living in both the past and the present simultaneously, which brings us back to that glitching title. It could be visualizing this exact moment when the timeline begins to collapse in on itself. The past, young Will, and the future, older Will, bleeding together. And if that's happening, then time isn't just broken, it's merging. Detail number 3. In this next clip, we see Joyce at the front, followed by Will on the left. Right next to him is Erica Sinclair, and on the right is Robin, and directly behind them is Derek Turnbow, a brand new character confirmed on the Stranger Things Wikipedia. And if we take a look at this official Season 5 poster, we can actually see Derek is the son of the man who owns the farm this scene is taking place on. And that detail connects directly to the episode title, which is reportedly called the Turnbow Trap. This is likely the location where the group sets up a full-on ambush, probably to lure a creature from the Upside Down or even trap a certain someone like Vecna. Number 4. In this quick shot, we see Karen Wheeler, Mike's mom, along with a much older Molly Wheeler. If we rewind a bit and take a closer look at the episode title that briefly flashes on screen, The Vanishing Off, it's clearly a reference to the very first episode of Season 1, The Vanishing of Will Byers. But this time, it's not about Will. In another scene, we catch a glimpse of Molly standing near blinking Christmas lights, similar lights that flickered when she stood next to them in Season 1. And in recently leaked set photos, we actually see Molly interacting with Henry Creel, aka Vecna himself. So it looks like Stranger Things might be doing a full circle callback to the original disappearance, but this time it's not Will who vanishes, it's Molly. So we can actually assume that the full title is actually The Vanishing of Molly Wheeler. Number 5. In this next scene, we see Lucas sitting beside Max, but this isn't the same hospital room we saw at the end of Season 4. On the wall behind them, we can spot one of Max's drawings from Season 4, and if you look over to the right, sitting on a nearby table next to a radio, there's a tape. And thanks to earlier set photos, we know exactly that the tape is actually Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush. The fact that Lucas still has the tape nearby tells us he hasn't given up on her and might still believe that Kate Bush could reach her again. Number 6. In this next shot, we see Steve and Dustin, and if we take a closer look at the flooring, we can actually see that they're actually on the balcony inside Hawking's lab, the exact same one that Joyce and Hopper explored back in Season 3. And even though Nancy and Jonathan are completely missing from this trailer, set photos confirm that they're eventually seen teaming up with Dustin and Steve. Number 7. We see Eleven in distress, her nose bleeding, the signature sign that she's using her powers, or that someone or something is reaching into her mind, and Hopper is right there trying to calm her down. Now, this scene could mean a lot more than it lets on. Option 1, Vecna is reaching out to Eleven directly, possibly through a psychic link similar to what he did with Max in Season 4, but notice how Eleven looks like she's either resisting or overwhelmed, which can mean that this isn't just a passive connection. Option 2, this might connect to the moment we see Will shouting run. It could be the same event from two perspectives. Maybe Eleven's reacting to to something happening to Will, or we can connect it to this next shot that shows something erupting from the floor and the lights are flickering. This could be Vecna bursting through or potentially another upside down entity. But here's the detail I noticed. It's not just coming from one direction. If you look at the soldiers in the background, they're not all facing the same way. And that aligns perfectly with the official description of episode 1, which states that the government has placed the town under military supervision, which explains the heavy presence of soldiers who are now hunting Eleven. Number 8. In this shot, we see Hopper and Eleven standing in what looks like a vast chamber in the upside down, and right next to them is a massive pulsing egg-like structure embedded into the wall. And if you zoom real close into the egg, you can actually make out something inside. The texture and shape of the thing inside bears a striking resemblance to the Demogorgon eggs we've seen in the official Stranger Things concept art and promotional material. The same ones that were originally teased back in Season 2's early concept phase but never fully explored on screen. And other than that, this wall could be a literal pathway that lets the Demogorgons literally phase through a wall, just like we see one of them do in Season 1. Number 9. In this shot, we see Mike Wheeler stepping up and protecting the group. This lines up perfectly with the idea that Mike is the heart of the group. On the right, we have a new face, Thomas, a character we haven't seen before. On the left, we get what initially looks like Susie, but if you look again, you can see that it's actually a brand new character named Debbie. In the background, we can spot Will Byers struggling to stand, clinging onto Joyce. This could be the result of him tapping into or being tapped into by his connection to Vecna or the Mind Flayer. Just like how Eleven bleeds and collapses after overusing her powers, Will may be experiencing a similar toll because of his psychic bond with the Upside Down. And on the floor, we spot what at first glance looks like a fallen soldier, but is actually a dummy. This matches set photos that leaked during filming where we saw fake military dummies being used, likely as bait or misdirection. Number 10. The final shot of the trailer hits hard, where we see Will Byers screaming, "Run! Run!" Now, based on everything we know, this is foresight. Will is likely experiencing a surge in his psychic connection with the Mind Flayer or even Vecna himself. This could be another vision, like the ones he had in Season 2 and 3, where he sees something coming before it arrives. But here's where it gets interesting. From a leaked set recording, which I sadly cannot show you for obvious reasons, it was revealed that before Will screams run, he actually yells, "Steve, do you hear me? You need to run." And then he delivers the line we see in the trailer, "Run! So what does that mean? Well, it might mean Steve's in serious danger. And what's best, we've seen the Duffers pull this move before. Looking at you, Eddie Munson. And if Will is the one sensing it ahead of time, that adds a tragic twist. It's possible Steve's death could be the emotional gut punch that launches the final war against the Upside Down. But hey, if this breakdown didn't pull you into the Upside Down already, then maybe you're one of Vecna's spies, so smash the demo button and teleport yourself into my next video right here.